Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mets Life. I'm your host, Rompe, and this is episode 1. We are here, May 3rd, 2021. The Mets are taking on the Cardinals at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. The Mets just finished coming off of a very grueling and taxing series against the Phillies. Division rival, the rivalry is very much alive and well. And I'm not going to be shy about it. The Philadelphia Phillies are a good team. They're not as bad as I initially thought they were going to be in the beginning of the year. Because when you look at the Phillies and you look at the way their bullpen performed last season, and then you look at the way the Phillies, missed the end of, the playoffs at the end of the year, and the way some of the things went. And then the offseason didn't begin so well for the Phillies. It did not get off to a really good start at all, actually. And that's something that, to be honest, the owner came out, talked about how COVID really kind of took a lot out of them, and that's definitely something to kind of like, wow. He said that they lost about $200 million, something. They lost a lot of money. I think it was like $2 billion that COVID kind of cost the team. And so the Phillies didn't get off to a good start in the offseason. It was just like fans were freaking out, and they were like, yo, what the heck is going on? Things were kind of not good for the Phillies, to be honest. Things were not good at all. So jumping into the season, as the offseason continued, they got a president of baseball ops, and they kind of try to figure some things out. They started getting some acquisitions, started getting some pieces here and there. Archie Bradley, they made the trade for Alvarado, and they re-signed Real Muto, and they kind of patched some things up with their bullpen. So you kind of like, their fans were kind of optimistic. Okay, we keeping the same squad. We were good offensively last year. Maybe we should just keep on and just keep the faith. I think getting Dombrowski kind of helped them feel like, okay, things aren't gonna be as bad. So that kind of was helpful for them. So fast forward, first series of the season, we couldn't play the Nationals. That whole COVID thing happened, so we had to play the Phillies to start off the year. Didn't get off to a hot start. Then we went on, won a couple games. Friday night was, I don't know. The Phillies scored 2 runs on an error pass ball. But it was really, like, it was weird. It was a real bounce on the dirt that got away from McCann. Wasn't like, defensively he kind of just looked like crap back there. It was like a really tough hop that was really tough to judge. Now some of the best catchers, they know what to do. They know how to get in front of that bounce and, keep that ball from kind of getting away from them. But that, it was it happens. 162 game season, those things tend to happen. The ball got away from him, 2 runs scored, and there you go. We weren't able to come back. We lost the game 2-1. Then the bench is cleared because the whole Dom Smith thing. Dom Smith, standing up for his teammate. This guy Alvarado throws 100, and he has no control. I mean, a guy like Chapman throws 100, but at least he has some kind of control. This guy had zero control whatsoever, and that was the bad part. That was the bad part. So this guy has no control, and you're gonna throw the ball, and you can hit this guy in the head, and so that wasn't a good look. So fast forward to Friday, he's pitching to Dom Smith. The he's wild, loads the bases, almost gives up the tying run. But he was able to strike out Dom Smith. So when he strikes out Dom Smith, he's hyped, he's excited, he's pumped. And I get that. Again, Dom Smith said the same thing too. I get it. Let the kids play. You strike him out. You got some beef. Strike him out. You're hyped. You're screaming, yelling. Fine. Cool. That's fine. That's okay. There's no problem with that. But then is what happened after. Like, I get his emotions got the best of him. I don't know. But Dom Smith was literally, he turned around, looked at the home plate umpire, asked where the location was. Was it low? Was it high? Was it, was it on the black? Kind of just asking the ump where the location of that pitch was. Not in an argumentative way. He wasn't like, it was a foul tip or nothing like that. He wasn't really arguing with the umpire. He just wanted to know what the location was. So as the umpire tells him what the location was, so he's done. He goes, started heading to the bench, and then that's when all hell broke loose. It's like this guy just started going at Dom, yelling at him, probably cursing at him in Spanish. Who knows? I know Spanish, but I didn't hear any audio from what he was saying. I couldn't really make out lip reading what he was saying. But he was, very aggressive towards Dom, kind of challenging him to a fight. And Dom kind of was like, okay, so you want the smoke, so we, like, what's up? You know what I mean? Like, tell me what's up. Like, what we gonna do? So, like, what you talking about? And, the bench is cleared. Everybody got in the way. And, the game continued. With the whole Rhys Hoskins at bat, same thing. Miguel Castro was on the mound. He's not wild. He throws 100, but he's not wild. But in that at bat, a couple pitches got away from him inside. In Major League Baseball, you have to command the inside of the plate. Whether right-handed, left-handed, you got to command the inside of the plate. If you do not command the inside of the plate, you're gonna lose batters. You're gonna throw pitches over the plate. You're gonna get crushed. You're gonna get destroyed. And that was kind of, he was just trying to establish the inside of the plate, and it got away from him. Rhys Hoskins didn't like it, got upset, got angry as he was walking to first, and he got walked. So he was walking to first, got upset, got angry, and Castro was like, "I ain't having it. You want the smoke? Let's go." And the Phillies guys just really wasn't trying to, they were rah, 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 bark, 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 no bite. I guess kind of riled themselves up, but we got riled up at the same time. Fast forward to game 2. Pretty Taijuan Walker let up 2 runs. I think he let up 3 runs in that game. But I know he started struggling a little bit, let up a couple runs, but Michael Conforto came in, gave us the go-ahead run, and we win the game. That was Saturday. No problems, no issues, no benches cleared, no problem, right? Zach Wheeler got lit up 4 runs early. The Phillies do come back to tie it up 4-4, and then Michael Conforto gives us the go-ahead run. We win 5-4. Sunday was crazy, was bananas. So, bottom of the first, McCutchen hits a home run off David Peterson. Mets go ahead, they get that run back. And then the Phillies, they go ahead and they tack on 3 to that, right? So we're losing the game. I think if we get the lead, so we're up 2-1, and then the Phillies come back, and then they get the 3-run home run from Didi Gregorius, and then they go ahead and tie up the game with the Mets go ahead and tie up the game on a blunder by first baseman Rhys Hoskins, who Peraza gets a base hit that gets by Hoskins. Didn't go far, but Hoskins had a dive to make the play, and he was really the only one in that area because they were playing the shift. So he was really the only one in the area to kind of stop the ball from getting into the outfield deep. So he go ahead, he stops the ball, and then kind of lazily throws it back into the second baseman, kind of like a lazy throw. Well, I think the second baseman got to it before he did, and they both ran to it. So the ball was lazily thrown. They were thrown, kind of holding it lazily, like not paying attention really. And VR goes ahead, steals the run, slides home. So we tie up the game 4-4. 8th inning, Pilar hits. 8th inning, we load the bases, and Pete Alonso go ahead, clears the bases with a double. So we're up 8-4, right? Because Alvarado walked in the go-ahead run, and then Pete Alonso hit the double. So we're up 8-4. Cool. I wouldn't feel comfortable with the lead because the way the night was going kind of indicated this was going to be a wild finish. Though the Mets had a comfortable 8-4 lead, it was going to be a wild finish. Guaranteed, hands down, this was going to be a wild finish. And that's exactly what happened. Diaz comes in, and I understand the issue because that was an issue last night. The issue last night, from a lot of Met fans was that, why are you bringing in Diaz when he just pitched the previous night, and you're bringing him in to not even get the save, right? But I know why it happened. This goes back to 2020, right? And actually goes back to 2019. In 2019, Edwin Diaz felt like he could not get a groove. He explained specifically in the beginning of 2020 that he is the type of guy he likes to pitch multiple days, sometimes even 3 days in a row. That's where he feels comfortable, right? He established that himself from his mouth. He said those words. So, boom. Fast forward, right? He was successful last year when used multiple days, or when used in, the 8th inning, to like kind of he wants work. He likes to work. So that was what he indicated to the manager, and that's how they used him. Now, to start the season, we didn't use him that way. We couldn't get games in a row. We couldn't get nothing established because a lot of postponements was happening. So that was very frustrating. You can't get a groove when you're not playing every day, right? It's baseball. That's how the game is played. I know football, they don't. Basketball, they don't. Hockey, they don't either. But this is baseball. This is a game where you got to play every day, to get in a groove. It's crazy, it's weird, but that's how the game works. So, boom. That was established. It's how he was used in 2020. I understand this year is so many expectations. Things are different. We expect to win. We expect to be one of the best teams in the National League and possibly make it to a World Series. But why change what worked last year? It doesn't make any sense. So, fast forward now. Boom. He worked the game before on Saturday. He wanted to work again on Sunday. Right? Now, there's a whole discrepancy. I'm not sure what the report is. I don't know. From what Rojas said last night, he said that they weren't indicated that his back started spasming until the pitching coach Jeremy Hefner went out and started talking to Diaz. That's when they found out. They wanted to test to see if he could throw. He said he wanted to test to see if he could throw. He wanted to finish the game, wanted to, get the save, but they kind of saw it was hurting, so they just took him out. Now, that's from Rojas. I didn't hear from anybody else. I didn't hear from nobody or any other report that they knew beforehand that his back wasn't 100%. I don't think I just don't think, I don't see it, that his back is hurting. He tells them, listen, my back isn't 100%, and they put him in that game up by 4 runs. I just don't see that happening. Not that way, not in that fashion, right? I just do not see that happening at all. So, I don't have an issue with them trying to bring him in to 100% finish out the game. One, he wanted work. He needed work. I understand we have a 4-game set against the Cardinals, but this is how Diaz works. So if that's how he works, why mess it up? No need to mess it up. And you got Familia. You got capable arms that can kind of, give Diaz a day off. So he was getting the day off anyways on Monday. So that's why I didn't understand the whole riff. I get it. Because look at what ended up happening. He almost gave up the game. He doesn't perform well against the Phillies. So yes, there are cases against why you shouldn't put him in there. But I see why they did. I see why they did. And I think no matter who you put in there, if they would have put Familia, they could have gave May a second inning. Maybe if they would have I think that would probably been the only scenario where the game kind of didn't get out of control. But then again, we've seen it before as well early on in the season when May pitched 2 innings and it just wasn't working for him. He started walking a couple guys and then everything just fell off, But that was probably the best case scenario to put him in there. But I don't see them going wrong with that's your closer. At the end of the day, I understand it's a 4-run lead, but they weren't underestimating the Phillies' ability to want to come back in this game. Did we expect Roman Quinn to hit a 100-mile-an-hour fastball for a triple? No, not at all. But that's exactly how it happened, right? You couldn't stop that from being the case, right? You walk Didi, he hits the triple, runs come in, and that's when his back just started acting up. It happened, but take him out the game. Familia comes in, he saves the game. Boom, bada bing, bada boom, done. Now let's get to Donnie Diesel. So there was chirping. I guess some of the Mets players heard the chirping. I heard the online stuff about how Chili Davis is in the hot seat. I guess a couple times on SNY. I guess in the pregame show or Baseball Tonight or their baseball show, they were talking about it. It's been all over the radio talking about, is it time to get rid of Chili Davis? He wasn't there last year and look at how they performed. That's a whole load of crap, to be honest. In 2019, Chili Davis was there pre-pandemic. He was there 100%. And how did the team perform? Exactly my point. So I just don't understand what the whole thing about Chili Davis was. I was afraid it was gonna get to that point because damn, you don't want that to happen. You don't want that to happen to somebody in a season like this because it just one the clubhouse starts getting mixed messages. You don't want to send that kind of message to the clubhouse, and it's too early in the year. It's way too early in the season to really be making any kind of calls like that, you know? So that to me didn't make any sense, right? So, boom. They kind of just wanted to rally together and said, nah, let's change the narrative. Let's kind of, let's make fun of these reporters some way, somehow, without really making it look like we're kind of like doing them dirty. And one way they did that was, let's make this fictional character. And they made Donnie Diesel, right? Donnie Diesel Stevenson. And since they made that character up, right? The whole entire series against the Phillies from Friday to Sunday, last night's game, the Mets out-hit the Phillies 31-19. So if you are asking me, now I understand runners in scoring position is still a problem. Hitting with guys on base is a problem. I understand that. I get that. But you got to walk. I mean, you got to crawl before you can walk, right? And you got to walk before you can run. So right now, we're crawling. We're crawling. We're basically almost at the walking stage right now. 31-19. We out-hit the Phillies. That is huge because guys are starting to get some confidence in their bats. And some bats are starting to wake up. Specifically, my kind of player of the series goes to Michael Conforto. Michael Conforto left only 2 men on base the entire series. Only left 2 men on base. So whenever there was a man on base and he was up, RBI. And, when he was up, with nobody on, he was getting on base. Michael Conforto, his bat woke up this series against the Phillies, which that's what you're looking for. It's a division rival. You need these W's. You need these victories. With that win, we go to 9-5 against the NL East without facing the Braves yet. We face them later on this month. So that, to me, was huge. Another thing, as you can see with the lineup today, they're kind of sticking with that. So that's why I kind of want to point this out, right? To me, we've seen this before. I felt like he's performed very, very well in this position before. Jeff McNeil needs to lead off. I understand. I know Brandon Nimmo, he's the leadoff guy. Like, come on, what you talking about? What you doing? What you talking about? Like, what's wrong with you? Nah, I know what I'm saying, right? Brandon Nimmo, you don't got to worry about where you put him in the order. That's what I'm trying to tell you. He will hit. He will continue doing what he does no matter where he hits in the lineup. So you can afford to move him down 6, 7. You get what I mean? You can move him down in the order without having to really worry about that. Maybe you move him to the 7th spot, right? Because that's 2 before the pitcher. Sometimes when DeGrom is on there, you maybe need to get him, you hit DeGrom 8th, you put Nimmo 7th, and boom. That's the guy that gets on base. DeGrom can move him over. That's why you need him there. In the bottom of the order, because he gets on base at the bottom of the order. That's what we need, right? I'm telling you. It makes the most sense. He's done it before. He's hit off the bench very well. He's hit in the bottom of the order very well. And it's not going to mess up his confidence. It's not going to mess up his mind, his psyche. Like, oh, I need to be a leadoff hitter. If I'm not a leadoff hitter, I'm not the same guy. No, he's the same guy whether he's leading off or not. So I'm not worried about that. But Jeff McNeil is the kind of guy that last year he had some success hitting, I think, 6th in the order last year. But he's a guy that needs to lead off. Here's why. Guys tend to throw first pitch fastballs. Jeff McNeil loves to swing at the first pitch. That's his thing. He does that. He's notorious for doing that. First pitch of the game, nobody's throwing a curveball. Maybe they'll throw a changeup. Maybe they'll throw a two-seam. But a cutter, maybe. A sinker, maybe. But these are pitches that kind of mimic the fastball, but they just have movement. Fine. I'm good with him swinging at a first pitch, changeup, sinker, two-seam. Maybe some guys will throw a slider first pitch, but that's like guys like Patrick Corbin or guys who really rely on that slider heavy. But guys tend to throw fastball, changeup, sinker, cutter, first pitch every single time. Jeff McNeil thrives off hitting that pitch first pitch. That's why he needs to be leading off because of that. Get on base, get things moving. We'll talk about Francisco Lindor a little bit later on because I do a little bit of a deep dive into Francisco Lindor and what's going on with him this season, right? But before we talk about the Cardinals, we want to talk about a couple other guys that kind of are kind of getting a little hot. We already know J.D. Davis is one of the hotter hitters on the team. The fact that his hand is starting to act up again or cramp up or kind of bug out on him a little bit and he's not in the lineup today again is a little bit like, you kind of don't want that to kind of ruin his vibe, ruin where he's at. So that it's a little frustrating to kind of get that reaction, right? Boom. Another guy, Pete Alonso. Has been showing flashes of 2019. The only thing I don't like, the only thing I hate, that kind of like, oh God, please don't, is sometimes when he's kind of pressing too much, he, like last year's slumps, he was just completely missing the ball. Kind of looks like what Francisco Lindor looks like this year, right? But when Pete Alonso's on, he's on. The only thing I hate is that chasing that outside, either changeup or slider. And usually it's a changeup. He hits the slider low and away pretty well. He's hit some home runs off it, especially in 2019. But that's the thing. He tries to, like, okay, you're going to try to beat me with the slider. I'm going to beat you first, but it's a changeup, and then it just throws him off completely, right? So that's the only thing I want him to lay off of that. He did that very well in Colorado. Against the Nationals, struggled with that a little bit, but want to decrease the strikeouts when it comes to doing that. So, boom. Now we're going to talk about the Cardinals. Before we get into the Cardinals, I'm going to pull up a couple things, and we're going to talk about the Cardinals. We're going to talk about the Cardinals lineup. You guys see the lineups on the screen. We're going to get into that in a minute. And definitely, we're going to talk about players to watch this series for the Cardinals. And then players to watch for the Mets this year. This series, and who I think is going to have a good series this series. So, we'll be right back, and we'll get to talking about these lineups. All right. We're back. So now we're gonna get into the lineups. Guys to look out for. And for the Cardinals, right? So their best players so far this year, early in the season, we're looking at Tommy Edman, Dylan Carlson, Nolan Arenado, Tyler O'Neill. Those are their best offensive hitters this season. And on the pitching wise, their closer, Alex Reyes, he's been good. And Flaherty has been good. That's their ace, so you expect him to be good. Paul DeYoung is another one. The reason why I point out Paul DeYoung, for his career, we're talking about from 2018 till now, in 83 at-bats, he has 9 home runs, 15 RBIs, hitting .361 with 10 doubles, 30 hits for his career. Now this season, he's hitting .172 with 6 home runs and 13 RBIs. So he's hitting for power, slugging very well, hitting for power, but he's not hitting for average. So the on base is a little bit shaky. You know, he's hitting .172, but he's a Met killer, hitting .361 for his career. Nolan Arenado is another one. Now, these numbers are when he was with Colorado, but now he's with the Cardinals. So, for his career, he is hitting .273 with 10 home runs and 36 RBIs for his career against the Mets, right? So, that's definitely somebody to look at, somebody that's, you know, you got to keep these guys on your mind. Goldschmidt is another one. He's been one of the Cardinals' better hitters as well. Is their franchise first baseman. So he's also putting up some good numbers against the Mets. And Tyler O'Neill, the nephew of Paul O'Neill, Yankee great. He's hitting .270 this season with 5 home runs and 10 RBIs. So these are some guys that we have to look at. Also, they got Harrison Bader, but he's not doing very well hitting. That's just a guy that if he ever gets it together with the bat, would really be a weapon for the Cardinals. And you know, for him, for his sake, New York kid, hopefully he turns it around. You know, want to see as New York guys thrive and survive out here. So, definitely. But not this series, though. You know, because I go around, mess around, say that, and then he'll fucking, you know, go ahead and get some hits and beat us. They also got Yadi Molina's hurt, so he's not playing today, though he probably will play this series, though. It's another Met killer for his career. And that's the rest of the lineup. Adam Wainwright is pitching. He has pitched very well in his career against the Mets. And against this specific lineup, nobody has good numbers against Wainwright. So, does it matter? No. Wainwright's probably not the same pitcher he's always been. But it's something of significance because when you are comfortable, when you feel comfortable, pitching against a specific team, these things tend to jump out at you, right? So the hope is that we hit them well tonight. That's the hope. Now we're going to get into some Francisco Lindor, because I know that's the topic of conversation. Francisco Lindor is one of the best shortstops in the game today. The guy for his career has put up A-Rod like numbers when it comes to power, right? In the power department. That doesn't mean he's a power hitter at all. It just means in the power department, he can hit the ball out the ballpark. Any ballpark. Does not matter. He can do that. He right now is trying to adjust to a brand new league. I know that might seem like, come on, you're being, you can't feel sorry for someone making that much money. Listen, he's a human being at the end of the day, right? But there's some truth to having to adjust to a league that you don't play in. This is his first time not playing with Cleveland. His first time in a new league. He's adjusting to tendencies from these guys. In the American League, he's known all these pitchers. He knows them. He knows their in and outs. He knows how they play. Let's watch him during some interleague play this year. You're going to see how different it's going to be because he's seen these guys. He knows their tendencies. He knows where they're going to pitch, where they're going to throw. He knows this. Same thing it was like with Edwin Diaz. He comes from the American League into the National League. He doesn't know some of these hitters. It started off good, and then all of a sudden, these guys were just hitting him out the ballpark. He was blowing games left and right, giving up home runs left and right. Just things weren't working for him. Sometimes this is how it happens. It's not on purpose. It's not intentional. Sometimes this is how it happens. Right? Guy comes over from a new league, and you got to adjust. The adjustment period is just taking a little bit more longer than you would think. Right? Boom. Carlos Beltran, for example, right? One of the most unappreciated, underrated Mets greats. And that's saying something. In the beginning, people didn't like him. And then, after 2006, nobody liked him, no matter what it was. And that was very unfortunate because he was probably one of the best. Matter of fact, the best center field. Like, he was modern day Mickey Mantle-esque. Defended very well, gold glove defense in center field, switch hitter, hit well from both sides of the plate, and he hit well deep into his, late 30s. So, it was the same thing with him. Now, he had to play with broken bones in his face his first year, right? Collided with Mike Cameron. As Mike Cameron was playing, right field, and it was different for him. It was new for him, and then boom, they both bang into each other's face. Beltran had to play with some broken bones in his face, but he toughed it out, and it just didn't go well for him that first year. But year two, he freaking, what? You saw it, 40 home runs. Guy hit probably over 120 RBIs. The guy was a beast, right? Francisco Lindor needs time to adjust. We get it. We know it's tough. It's struggling. It's like probably over his last 19, 18, maybe 20. We get it. We know. This is New York. The expectations for this team are different. Owner comes out, says he wants to win a World Series in 3 years. We get it. We know. Trust me, he knows too. He's a ball player, man. That's the one thing you can't forget. This is his life. This is his livelihood. This is what he lives for. This is what he does. Even when he struggled last year in a 60-game season, he played every single game. But there was distractions. There were a lot of things going on. Am I going to be here anymore? These things can affect people sometimes. Some people might not notice it, might not see it, might not get it, might not understand it. But it's true. So we're going to dig deep into some of Francisco Lindor's numbers, right? For the analytic people and people who are like, well, it's not just about, blah, whatever. Anyways, so for these specific analytic numbers, we're going to look at his zone swing percentage and his chase percentage, right? For his comparing for his career and for this season. It's significant, right? Because it kind of tells you where he's at. Mentally, can't tell you where he's at because I'm not in his mind. I can't read his brain, right? But these numbers right here kind of tell you where he's at, right? At the plate. So, chase rate for this season is at the lowest for his career, right? Because, I mean, 20-something games into the season, that matters to certain people, right? 20-something games is like playing 5 years for some people. That matters, right? It's an absolute joke. Anyways, so right now, where he's at, 20 games into the season, right? And mind you, 28 games were scheduled. We've only played 21, counting today. So, 25.5% chase rate, which is the lowest of his career, right? And the zone swing percentage is at 65.9, which is also the lowest of his career. Now, his career average for chase percentage is 29.7, which is probably is at or below league. Like, it's really good. It's why he got paid $341 million, right? For his career, his zone swing percentage. And what I mean by chase percentage and zone swing, basically we're looking at the 4 quadrants of the strike zone. Where is he swinging at the pitches? Is he chasing outside the zone? That's what chase means. Is he chasing pitches outside the zone? You know, perfect example, Giancarlo Stanton always chases, right? Aaron Judge as well. Sometimes Pete Alonso when he likes to chase for that freaking changeup. Anyways, so the chase percentage is his lowest this season. Why is that significant? He's only struck out 5 times. He's not striking out. So he's either hitting the ball at somebody, or he's hitting the ball in the ground, or he's popping it up. Those are the outcomes. So that means his outs above average. That tells you where it's at. He's not. Again, he's struggling, yes, but this isn't Jason Bay. This isn't a struggling, slumping Lucas Duda. Ike Davis. Kirk Nieuwenhuis. Should I name some more names, you know, from Met fans that don't understand exactly what I'm saying? This guy is a baller, bro. He's not striking out. That's why he's still batting in the 2-hole or 3. Now, the zone swing percentage is basically, you know, where he's swinging in the zone, or if he's swinging, basically, is he swinging at pitches in the zone, or is he not swinging at pitches in the zone? His career average is 70%. So 70% of the time, if the pitch is in the zone, he's swinging at it. What the result is what the result is. But basically, he's not swinging at bad pitches. Right? If he's striking out, he's swinging through pitches in the zone. Look at his strikeouts, if you will. Right? So for his career, 70% zone swing and 29.7%, if you want to round it off, 30% chase, right? Percentage. This season, he's below that. 65% for the zone swing and 25.5. Now, the reason why the zone swing is low, and that's not specifically good, he's looking at a lot of pitches. That's why that number is low. It should be higher. He should be swinging at more pitches in the zone. So he's looking at a lot of pitches in the zone and taking them for strikes. Once that changes and Francisco Lindor starts swinging at some pitches that are in the zone more, once he brings that number up, he's going to be A-okay. He's going to get hits. The hits are going to fall. He's going to start hitting pitches out the ballpark. You saw it in spring training. Once he got hot, that was it, right? Everybody was crying for him to get this contract. He got it, right? So that is significant. Now let's dive in a little bit deeper, right? Because we're talking about pitches in the zone. Now we're going to focus on pitches in the zone. So there's 4 categories for the zone. Pretty much way out the zone. So that's pretty much catcher has to really get up from his position and catch it up, or, you know, pass ball range, dirt range. Pretty much pass ball range, dirt range, right? So it's either in the dirt, pass ball, you know, and you get that, right? So we're not even going to count that because he's not swinging at pitches that's either in the dirt or out, way out. Now, pitches that are outside of the zone, league average is 21%. Francisco Lindor is at 23. So it's above average, yes, but he's kind of, I mean, come on. We're talking about 2% here. But that tells you at 23%, he's not swinging at pitches outside the zone. Again, like I said, he's not swinging at bad pitches. He's either swinging through, hitting it on the floor, hitting it at somebody, or popping up. Jose Reyes style. Now, pitches on the black. Basically what I mean by that is you see that little box on the telecast. So on the telecast, whatever broadcast you're watching, they have this square box that kind of indicates what the strike zone is. It's not accurate, but that's what the strike zone should be, right? Boom. Those lines that kind of make that box, that's the black. That's basically, you know, when a pitcher hits that spot and it gets called for a strike, that's paint. That's painting right there, basically. So pitches that are basically paint in the corners and the sides, league average is 52%. He's at 50% swinging at pitches in the black. Now, again, he's not going to swing at bad pitches. Usually, a lot of times on the black, it's 50-50. So that's why he's at 50%. So 50% of the time he's swinging, 50% he's not. That's where you want to be. 50-50 on the 50-50 pitches. No, there's a lot to handle, but that's where you want to be. You don't want to be at 80% Javi Baez flow, 80% swinging at pitches on the black every single time, especially on the outside zone, right? So, good. That's you're seeing things here that kind of indicate, like, listen, this is not what we've seen in the past with guys who have struggled wearing Mets uniform. Like, Jason Bay was notoriously bad. The guy was horrible. I mean, probably the worst contract decision ever. This is not that. Right? This isn't Lucas Duda when he will go on 2-3 month cold streaks, striking out, swinging at everything outside. This isn't that. Ike Davis when he got the yips with the bat, that he ended up getting traded. Same thing. Now, granted, hurt his leg, injury, changed up everything, messed up his whole mental, but he became that kind of guy that was swinging at everything, missing at everything. So I'm pretty sure his pitches on the black was way above 50%. His pitches on the outside of the zone was way above 23%. His pitches on the way outside was way up, right? So, you know, when you get that, it's not gonna work for you. You're never gonna find it, right? Pitches down the middle. So we're talking about anything in the middle of that box. right? League average is 73. He's at 75%. So these numbers tell you that Francisco Lindor is swinging at pitches. He's putting in that mental work in the box. And he's recognizing pitches. He's seeing what's going on. But the familiarity with specific guys is not 100% there. When you're comfortable with guys, when you're comfortable with seeing pitchers, and you know what this guy features, you know what he likes to throw. Aaron Nola, great pitcher, phenomenal pitcher, was third in the Cy Young race in 2018. Aaron Nola struggles against the Mets. There are games where he's shut down dominant, but he struggles more than not. Cole Hamels notoriously struggled against the Mets, but he was a phenomenal pitcher. I think he won an MVP or something for the National League Championship Series in 2008. Cole Hamels was a beast in the early 2000s, but he struggled against the Mets. Right? I mean, early 2010s. You get what I mean, right? Francisco Lindor is going to be fine. He's going to be okay, right? Bats are starting to turn around. Nito is finally in there. He has to play. Lucchese's on the mound. Let's see what he can do. I know he's been putting in some work in Brooklyn. Hopefully, he'll come back ready to rock. Give us a couple innings. Save this pen. But we got some guys. I 100% believe we'll see Sean Reed Foley. Been excited to see him. We haven't saw him since Chicago. You might see some Jacob Barnes. We're gonna see some guys. I think Familia. I don't know if Castro's not. Well, Castro pitched Friday. He didn't pitch Saturday. I don't think he pitched Saturday. I know he pitched Sunday. So I think he did pitch all 3 games. I'm not sure, but Miguel Castro's out. May is probably out. Familia is probably going to get the save if that situation presents itself. Listen, we won the series. We're at 500. Let's turn the page. Let's get this rocking and rolling. New series, new opponent. It doesn't make sense to sit and dwell about, this guy should get fired, this guy should this guy should that. Again, I've mentioned it on social media a bunch of times. I've seen this team go 12-0, 12-1, 13-1 in April, and then collapse in May and June. If the kind of April we had means that we're going to figure it out in May, we're going to be dominant in June, going into the All-Star break, yes, sign me up now. I'm not trying to panic and freak over what happens in April. I mean, look at the Braves, for God's sakes, right? So this league is not decided yet. I know the hype was this was going to be one of the strongest leagues in baseball, but it takes time to build that. It takes time to get there. So the point is that we just want to get there. Eventually, we will get there. That's the hope, is that we get there. But again, we got to crawl before we walk. Lindor's going to be okay. Alonso's a beast. We got Donnie Diesel, who's helping the team out. I mean, let guys figure it out. These are professionals. They'll figure it out. I am predicting that the Mets will win this game 3-2. Because again, the runners left on base is a very big issue. I hope we figure it out. I hope I'm wrong. But if those issues continue, I do see us scraping out 3 runs. I'm giving the Cardinals 2. I know that's kind of crazy, but the Mets pitching is good. They've been good. I don't think one game is going to really determine the rest of our natural lives. But the bullpen was solid to that game. Again, nothing about last night was normal. So, yeah, that happens. Familia was still good. May was still good. I think May would show up again to pitch. Just cause. So I'm counting on May and Familia at the back end of the bullpen today. Hopefully, Lucchesi gives us some innings. 3-2 Mets win is what I'm predicting. Hopefully we get that. Thank you guys for tuning in. We're going to do this a whole lot more. Basically, it's going to be Monday, Thursday. We're going to be in here. We're going to be previewing the series of the week on Monday. And reviewing the weekend series. And then Thursday, we're going to preview the weekend series. And then reviewing the series of the week. So join me here again Thursday. It was a lot of fun, digging into Lindor's numbers, really giving my notes on what I felt about the coaching situation. Is way too early to really be calling for anybody's job, saying that he's a ridiculous coach. This guy has managed every single level of baseball. He was thrown into the fire last year when he wouldn't even think he was going to get the job. Like, it was Beltran's job. Like, listen, at the end of the day, Terry Collins had to struggle, had to go through hell before he was able to get to a World Series. If we want to sit here with a revolving door around coaches, I don't see any coach right now available that's going to take us to the promised land. So instead of worrying about what coach we need to sign, and yeah, you really want to go through the rest of this season needing a new coach, figuring out who's going to be the new coach, getting some new No, that's Wilpon shit. We're not doing that. We're going to ride and die with Luis Rojas. So we got to back him up. If that was the decision he was going to make and bring him in with the 4-run lead, then shit, get it. Because he needed the work. He just got hurt. Unfortunately. Turn the page. Let's move on. Let's get him back healthy so we can get our closer back out there. Let's get Lugo back out there. Things are going to get better. You know what I mean? Lugo's coming back. So is Carrasco. He should be back by the Tampa series. Makes sense. Let him pitch against a familiar team. And then Noah Syndergaard comes right after that in June. So this is only the beginning, guys. Let's not freak out, bug out over what's happening, what's going to happen. This team is going to be good. Let's focus on that. And let's fucking go Mets. That's where we're at. LFGM, baby. Let's go Mets. The Grom tomorrow. Hopefully another 12, 13 strikeout performance. Let's do this, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm your host, Rompe. And I'll see you guys Thursday reviewing this Cardinals series and previewing